FBA fees climbing, I'm losing my grip. Storage costs rising, they'll never let me skip. Refunds I'm eating, returns pile up too. Oh, Amazon, what else will you do? I look at my dashboard, my profits erased. My margins are gone, it's a slap in the face. Prime Day's a promise, but it's such a race. How much will I make if I'm replaced? It's a cruel, cruel number. Fees keep climbing, profits torn asunder. Oh, it's cruel, the sellers wonder how to survive when the margins go under. It's a cruel, cruel number. Every month it's something new to plunder. Oh, it's cruel, it's no wonder we're stuck in this game. The algorithm's thunder.
Yo, Amazon's back, and they got a new scheme. Reimbursement slashed, it's every seller's dream. They're digging deep, taking more from the pot. Let's break it all down, expose what they got. March 25, it's a policy drop. They say manufacturing costs, but we know it's a flop. Give us your cogs, they're demanding the price. But if you don't, they'll estimate nice. Nice for them, not for you. Watch a payout shrink. That comprehensive evil is a corporate wing. Lost in the warehouse, damaged on the floor. Now they pay you pennies, not a cent more. Fees on the rise, profits on the run. They don't lift a finger, but they pocket the fun. We're fair! They shout while they cut our shares. Amazon math, man, it's full of errors. Fees, taking our dough. They're stacking the deck, and it's sellers who owe. Reimbursements? Nah, they're taking us down, but we're still here, we don't mess around. Fees, straight to the top. Amazon's game, it'll never stop. Margins tight, but we keep the grind. Sellers unite, we're one of a kind.
I try to sell my product on Amazon, thought it'd be a breeze. But little did I know I'd be stuck with seller support disease. They never seem to solve my problems, just give me the runaround. I'm tired of waiting on hold. My patience is wearing thin, I'll never be found. Amazon seller support, you suck, you suck, you suck. Can't get no satisfaction. I'm out of luck, out of luck, out of luck. You don't care about my business, just trying to make a buck. Amazon seller support, you suck, you suck, you suck.
This one's for the sellers on the grind, getting left on red, wasting all their time. I hit up support, got an auto reply. Thanks for your patience, man, I wanna cry. Inventory lost, my margins are toast. Reps playing tag like the Casper the Ghost. They pass me around, it's a never-ending game. Nobody takes action, everybody shifts blame. My ASIN's down, I'm out of the race. They say they'll escalate, yo, what a disgrace. Amazon seller support, you're breaking my heart. No answers, no fixes, just tearing me apart. Hours in the queue, stuck in the dark. Amazon seller support, you're missing the mark.
Amazon game plan, that is the key. Seller central dashboard, that's where I be. Analyze the funnel, see what we lack, then we optimize. Sellers know it's a fact. I get it poppin', you know that it's lit. Climbing the rankings, ain't no room to quit. I check the data, they notice the stats. I keep the method, that's how you adapt. Metrics are showing, you know it's our cap. Amazon sellers, it's time to react. I'm about that action, I do this with passion. I got them like, whoa, what is this? Huh, whoa.
I don't know, dude. I think everybody's just buying stuff based on reviews and badges or whatever. They don't even know who we are. These customers don't even know the name of my brand. But they keep clicking add to cart like it's part of the plan. They see that Amazon badge and think it's all grand. But yo, they don't even know the name of my brand.
Build your store. Amazon's waiting, what you waiting for? Brand it loud, make it shine. Steven's here to drop the rhyme. Blue tiles, banners, plug and play. Your storefront's live for sell a day. Now listen up, I'm Steven Pope. Amazon guru, I'll help you cope. Step 1, get that trademark stamped. Without brand registry, your Amazon cramped. Head to Seller Central, log in quick. Manage stores tab, yeah, that's the trick. Upload your logo, flex that style. You're about to make Jeff Bezos smile. Where pick a template, marquee or grid. Drop your tiles like a branding whiz. Hero image, big and bold. This store's gonna glitter like digital gold. Flex, grow, build your store. Amazon's waiting, what you waiting for? Brand it loud, make it shine. Steven's here to drop the rhyme. Blue tiles, banners, plug and play. Your storefront's live, let's sell the day. Yo. In the trenches of the Amazon game, trying to survive while it's driving me insane. Nobody warns you, they just claim it's passive income. Nah, it's pain. I'm sitting at a birthday, laughing, chilling, next to a newbie Amazon seller spilling. She's like, Prime so smooth, it's a killer. Then tried to sell, now she's stuck in a thriller. Finding products, yeah, that's the first grind. Scrolling Alibaba, losing my mind. Sample suck, manufacturers decline. I'm like, dang, how's anyone doing this fine? Ship it in, pay for the bubble wrap, but they ship glass bottles in padded crap. Now I got hot sauce leaks, refund stack, customers pissed. Man, I'm under attack. Amazon's a beast, it's a fight, no peace. From SEO to PPC, the hustle don't cease. Think it's passive? Nah, you better increase your tolerance for chaos or face defeat. Trademark wars, brand registries a scam. They banned my brand, now I'm in a jam. Listings yanked, products ranked and tanked. Lost dogs in the catalog, my account shanked. Now let's talk ads, it's a rabbit hole. 1,000 hours deep, man, it's taking my soul. Weekly negations, bulk sheets for control. Excel's my new weapon, but it's taking its toll. SEO's no joke, keywords in the game. All text, A+ content, playing insane. Lifestyle shots, avatars for fame, but the CTR's low, all products look the same. Amazon's a beast, it's a fight, no peace. From SEO to PPC, from SEO to PPC, the hustle don't cease. Think it's passive? Nah, you better increase your tolerance for chaos or face defeat. Let's go to Mac School. To Mac School. Class is now in session with Professor Pope. They got the SAP, cause Professor Pope wrote the recipe. Helping Amazon sellers grow sales exponentially. Amazon's a jungle, but we map the strategy. Brand strategist playbook, it's a guide to victory. Troubleshooting catalogs, you know we got the answer key. Boosting all your rankings, turning sales into a legacy. SOB so deep, you'd think we studied at Mac School. Every step we follow leads to growth, yeah, it's a golden rule. Stuck on keywords, we'll find the ones that work the best. Using Helium 10, strike distance keywords pass the test. Incremental indexing ensures the listing set to rise. From the back end to the bullets, optimization hits the skies. Brand store creation, yeah, we make it shine and flow. A+ content design makes conversions overflow. Need your images on point, best practices in the plan. All text and photo rules ensure your visuals command. SEO meets PPC, it's balanced, every step aligned. We'll construct the MKLs that drive rankings over time. Budget caps and bid adjustments, no more wasted spending. Segmentation builds campaigns that sellers can defend. Got a hijacker, no problem, we'll file to take them down. Review requests in action, 5-star ratings come around. Flat file updates, market share reports, it's all in reach. Professor Pope wrote the SOP so sellers learn and teach.
Meanwhile, my Amazon guys on the case, fixing up my problems at lightning pace. Ticket escalations, Mag's the boss. Even Amazon says we'll take the loss. Seller support don't know what's up. Passing the buck when the issue gets tough. They're the official team, but they can't comply. So they say, reach out to my Amazon guy. They're supposed to be the pros, but they can't decode policies and tools from their own damn road. I'm paying fees, yet they bring me stress. But Mag turns my chaos into pure success. Seller support reps, they throwing shade, but then admit, yo, Mag will get you paid. Third-party agency taking the throne while Amazon fumbles in their own damn zone. Seller support don't know what's up. Passing the buck when the issue gets tough. They're the official team, but they can't comply. So they say, reach out to my Amazon guy. So here's the truth, let's keep it real. Mag's the team with the pro-level skill. Amazon sellers, you know the vibe when support says call Mag. They'll give you peace of mind. Amazon seller support, you can suck my image stack. Sucking is all you're good at anyway. Bezos, hit me up if you want to sell seller support. I'm buying. There's a chase. Peace.
All right, you got questions. We've got answers. We're going to be answering your questions regarding pay-per-click advertising on Amazon. My name is Kevin Sanderson, your host, and I'm so excited to be here today. In fact, I got so excited I almost forgot how to unmute myself there at the beginning. But we're going to be answering your questions. So I just want to make sure. Tap, tap, tap. Is this thing on? I was actually just buying myself on Amazon a new USB cable for my microphone. So I just want to make sure, is the microphone USB cable that I'm using actually transmitting sounds to you? So if you don't mind, just put in the chat, yes, Kevin, I can hear you, and you'll make me feel oh so better. And so I am so excited that you're here, and we're going to be answering your questions in here a moment. So again, if you can hear me, please let me know in the comments, in the chat, wherever you're at. Looks like we are broadcasting all over the interwebs on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, somewhere else. I don't know. But it sounds like people can hear me. So Real Skincare 6568 says, morning, Kevin. Morning, Real Skincare. It looks like they can hear me loud and clear. So that's great. For Ventus G1Z. That's a very specific. I'm wondering what the thought process was behind that name. Like, is there a significance to the G1Z, or just added it to the end just because it sounded cool? All right. So then we've got Why So Cute says, yes, we can hear you. And it also said, hi, Kevin. So hi, Why So Cute. Glad that you were here. We've got Claire Villacres. Did I say that correctly? Viacres, 1361. I'm wondering what the significance is behind that number. Also says, hi, Kevin. Caroline is joining us from LinkedIn. Lane says, yes, I can hear you. Okay, good. All right. So we've got questions already starting to come in. One thing I just want to point out, this happens every single time. I tend to run out of time at the end of the hour. We're just starting. But when we get to the end of the hour, we tend to run out of time before we run out of questions. So right now, if you ask a question, I can almost guarantee I will get to it and get you an answer. A little bit about my background. I've been advertising on Amazon now for over 10 years, been selling on Amazon for almost 11. I dabbled a little bit in retail arbitrage, launched my own brand in early 2016 before doing a variety of other things, including being marketing and partnerships guy here at My Amazon Guy. So with that, looks like we've got folks rolling in some of the questions. Thank you for everybody who is participating and letting me know that you can hear me. I would like to know, because we do have a pay-per-click, what's the word I'm looking for? Webinar, masterclass training. I like masterclass training better than webinar. But anyway, we've got a masterclass training coming up this Thursday at 1:00. And so we're going to be helping everybody even more than what we're doing now, really diving deeper into strategies that you can use with PPC. Because a lot of times we think like, oh, just the bid, and, just sales just magically go up. Well, it doesn't tend to work that way. So there are some strategies involved and ways you have to look at the data that maybe you hadn't thought of. So we're going to be covering that on Thursday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. And if you're not sure where to go, you can just go to myamazonguy.com. There's like a little banner in the center of the website, and I'm just looking to see if I can bring that up, and it should be the first thing you see when you go to the page. It loads. In fact, yes. All right. So let me share my screen here. Just doing this on the fly. All right. So if you were to go to, okay. Yeah. So if you go to myamazonguy.com, it's this little PPC profitability masterclass. It's rotates different banners, but you could click that. You can join myself and Noah Wickham this Thursday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Technically, I know everybody loves to put standard time, but it's technically now as of this past Sunday, we are in Eastern Daylight Time. So anyway, just for clarity's sake. So, all right. So with that, I'm just curious, for those of you joining and watching, before I start getting into some of the questions, which again, if you have questions, the best time to ask them is now I go for the most part in order of when they received, but I do reserve the right to go out of order at my sole discretion. So I would like to know, what should be the way we do it? Let's do emojis. Emojis are always fun. Please use an emoji to describe your ad campaigns at this moment in time. It could be an optimistic looking emoji. It could be a money bags emoji. It could be a crying emoji. It could be a fire emoji, which could go one of different directions. But just let me know in the chat, using an emoji, how would you describe your ad campaigns on Amazon? And one thing to keep in mind is that sometimes I will just randomly, out of nowhere, reward participation. So let's see what folks have. So we have Why So Cute, upside down smiley face. That's actually one of my favorite whatchamacallit. It's one of my favorite emojis is the upside down smiley face, just because it's kind of like it's like things are great, but in an upside down way. Real Skincare 6568, frowny face. Sorry to hear that. Claire says the upside down smiley face, followed by, sometimes I don't know what to do with that particular one. It looks kind of like a cross between like Pac-Man and a pumpkin, but also it's kind of like sick. So maybe your PPC is sick. So hopefully we can help cure it, or at least give you some remedies to help you on your situation. Then we've got For Ventus, kind of like neutral, asleep at the wheel, kind of like, because the eyes are shut. So I'm curious about that one. So anywho, let's start getting into some of those questions. Oh, actually, let's do this for everybody, including For Ventus, Claire, Real Skin, and Why So Cute. All of you for participating. The four of you can email podcast@myamazonguy.com, podcast, singular, no S at the end, at myamazonguy.com. And we will, and just let us know. Kevin promised me a free $100 mag school course. Oh, there we go. Our producers in the background. Thank you to Gilbert or Michelle, whichever of you did that. Thank you. We will give you a free coupon code you can use for a $100 mag school course. No strings attached, purely just a participation trophy. And if you're watching this in the future, oh, I missed one person. Hina, I4G3D. Is that I4 or L4? I4, like you live in Orlando, Tampa, Daytona, like corridor, which they call it the I4 corridor. It goes from Tampa to Orlando to Daytona, from coast to coast, which would take you about 2.5 hours. Well, maybe more than that with traffic. But anyway, and it looks like we got one other one jumped in here. Saclane says new. Okay, so you're basically saying that you're new at this. So we're excited. We can hopefully help you with that. So, all right. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you, just email that email address coming across the screen. I probably need to go this way to make it go the same direction of what it is on the screen, because I think I mirror when I'm looking at it. So anyway, total random side note, a little bit of a tangent. Just email that and our team will get you a free mag school course. And if you're watching the replay and you're like, but I missed out, well, join us live. So this is a reward for people who are live and participating. So, all right, with that, let's go ahead and get into some questions. We got good questions already coming in, so I am super excited about that. So let's go ahead and answer your questions. And so we got Hina Heine says, hello, Kevin. I just launched my first private label product on Amazon 2 weeks ago. Congratulations. You were jumping in the pool, so to speak. I'm having a tough time hitting my daily budget for PPC and would like some insight. Is it typically better to raise bids? What is the ideal launch strategy for the first 30 days? Okay. So if I'm understanding this correctly, when you say you're having a tough time hitting your daily budget, I'm assuming you mean like your budget is like $30 a day and you're spending $7 or something like that. Like you're not capped. You're not hitting that ceiling. And a lot of times that comes from a few factors. So one, at the end of the day, there's only so many people searching on Amazon for a particular keyword. So if you have a high volume thing, let's say poop bags. I think it's one of the top pet products is poop bags because people are always having to buy some. We go through quite a few in our family. So anyway, if you have a dog, you probably know what I'm talking about. So otherwise people are talking about bags of poop, not actual bag like filled with, but like ones you would use for cleaning up after your pet. So anyway, if you have a high volume product like that and maybe a high volume keyword, then you will probably spend pretty quickly. If you are in a more niche product and more niche keywords where there's fewer people searching for it, then you will not spend as much. Now, what also happens is, and this is my favorite example, is markers. So this is a dry erase marker. Let's call it purple. It's kind of purpley. Maybe, I don't know. Let's just call it purple. You can call it violet. I don't know. It's purple. So the difference between, let's say, markers and dry erase markers and purple dry erase markers is going to have, each of those will have dramatically fewer searches. So that means they're going to show it to the most relevant products. So one, are you bidding on, let's say, markers? Are you bidding on dry erase markers? Are you bidding on purple dry erase markers? Or whatever that kind of more niching down, narrow focus is for your products. And then you want to dissect, like, okay, what do I need to look at? So if you're going after markers and you have let's say a purple dry erase marker and it's more niche, you might not show up because maybe there's just not enough social proof on yours. You could bid all day long. You can try increasing your bids and see what happens. You can try increasing your top of search multiplier to see if that helps you, but it may or may not. So those are just some things you might want to look at, is like, okay, are you going after the really tough keywords? Or are you going after more niche keywords? And so if you're going after more niche keywords, are you going after the equivalent of, let's say, red dry erase markers and yours is purple? Maybe it just doesn't make as much sense. And if you're going after dry erase markers, does yours fit with what people are generally looking for when they type in dry erase markers? Because maybe it's mostly black, blue, red, maybe green that show up, or maybe a multicolor pack, whereas you're just selling purple ones. So if you have a more niche product, you're gonna have to go after more niche keywords to be successful, generally speaking. And those oftentimes don't spend as much because there's not as many people looking for it. So hopefully that makes sense as to maybe how you might want to approach it. But I would definitely take a look at your bids, maybe increase them. Now, if Amazon is saying the suggested bid is $3.72 and you're bidding $1.10, maybe increase by like 10%, not go all the way up to what they're suggesting, because oftentimes their suggested bids are just that, they're suggestions. And they tend to be, they're not bad, but they're not in your favor. They tend to be slightly inflated, in my opinion. They might be right on, but they're written really more from Amazon's perspective of how you could get more impressions, but maybe you don't need that many impressions and you just end up spending a lot of money. And now you don't have a I'm not spending enough issue. You have a I'm wasting money issue. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. Next up, we have Real Skincare 6568 says, we bought a brand that is established on Amazon and want to integrate them into our Seller Central. I'm looking to transfer the brand registry over. What is the easiest way to do that? So, all right. So if you already bought a brand, my recommendation would be what the folks at like Quiet Light Brokerage or any of the brokers would probably tell you, and that's keep the Seller Centrals separated. So what you could do is you could give access from, let's say, new brand Seller Central account. You could give access to old brand Seller Central account to do stuff. So that way you're not having to like sign in and out. You're just switching the drop down for merchant. So that's one option. And so I would say that's probably a good way to look at it, as opposed to integrate them within your Seller Central, because now it makes it harder if you want to sell either your old brand or in the future sell this new brand you just purchased. So if you want to sell them, you want to keep your books clean and keep the accounts clean. And it's easier to transfer ownership of one account with one brand than one account with multiple brands. And I know people who have done it and they regret it. They wish they had kept it all separated. And so it's possible, but it's painful. So that would be my recommendation. And then keep the brand registry where it is, and then just do an ownership change of the old account, which is completely doable. And if you're at all concerned about like, but I'm running multiple accounts, you can do that if these are, if they have their own EIN number, their own banking. There's a video on this channel. If you're watching, you're watching on YouTube. There's a video here on this YouTube channel from Noah Wickham from the last couple weeks, I believe. If you just look in our videos, like if you just click on the videos tab in YouTube for My Amazon Guy channel, you'll see a recent video. I believe it was fairly recent. Sometimes it kind of runs together. But I'm pretty positive he did a video fairly recently within the last few weeks about the topic of not transferring ownership, but whether or not you can have multiple accounts. So if that's at all a concern, that would be a good video to watch. So that would be my suggestion to you, is you got to keep them separated. Hey, what was that song? What was it? Offspring, circa 1997 or 98, I think. Anyway, total side note. All right, next up, Siclane says, I'm launching a new business on Amazon.ca and would like your mentorship, some guidelines. How can I make successful things and get results? Well, you got a product people want, that they're willing to spend more, or the value of it is more than their perceived value of the money that they are willing to give up for it. So that's the basics. Now, if you have specific questions, I'm more than happy to help you with that. Yeah, either way, I wish you the best of luck. All right. Why So Cute says, what's the minimum data you need before promoting a search term to its own campaign? Good question. I would say at least a couple sales. Now, if there's like 3 clicks in one sale, it's probably not worth it. If there's like 50 clicks in one sale, it's probably not worth it. If you have 10 clicks in 2 sales, why not? If you have 8 clicks in one sale, why not? I tend to lean towards it doesn't hurt to promote it, and you could still leave it wherever it is. So, if it's, sometimes you'll still get sales, even though you're talking about search term versus keyword. If you make it its own keyword, or you said promote it to its own campaign. Do you mean to a new campaign or to like a single keyword campaign? So if I'm reading this correctly now, if we're talking about single keyword campaigns, my saying to you is don't build yourself a prison, meaning it's going to be so complicated to keep on top of it. So I would say reserve single keywords for only the absolute best keywords. And if like ones that have track records as their own keywords, which that might be what you mean. But if you have a search term, so like if you have, you're going after dry erase marker and you realize, oh, I'm getting sales for purple dry erase marker as a search term for a broad phrase, because the word purple is now added to dry erase marker, then maybe it's worth making purple dry erase marker its own keyword. So that would be the way I would look at it. And then as far as putting its own campaign, it's got to have lots of sales and lots of history, and it might still do better wherever it was before. So that would be my thought process there. All right. Next up, Hina says, how many campaigns should be created for a newly launched product? Good question. I would say at minimum, you want to have an auto campaign. We recommend 5, my Amazon guy, we recommend 5 to 20 keywords per campaign. No more than 20. You could put a single keyword in a campaign, but I don't think it's usually worthwhile, especially if you're first starting out, because oftentimes what you think is going to be the best performing campaign is not the best performing campaign, or not getting the bulk of the impressions or the sales or whatever. It's usually more for budget control that you want to have fewer keywords in a campaign. So I would say pick the top 50 to 100 keywords, and then try to somewhat semantically put them into buckets, like ones that are, problem based, ones that are feature based, ones that are more high volume or whatever. And the more high volume, maybe you only put 10 in a campaign, and then go ahead and launch that. So that would be my suggestion. So if you're doing it the way I just suggested, you'd have at least 6, maybe 7 campaigns to start with, but don't go too crazy is usually my general thought process, because the more campaigns you create, the more you have to keep on top of. And learn bulk files. If you don't know how to use bulk files, we've got content on this channel. Shout out to Elizabeth Green from Jungler. On her channel, she's got a lot of great content on bulk files. It is the way to go. It will save you so much time, especially if you have lots of campaigns. The most painful thing to do is to go into every little campaign and click all of the different, ways you got to click on the campaign, click on the ad group, click on the targets, and then finally you can start making bid adjustments. So that's my suggestion. All right, next up, which just a quick little reminder, if you've not put your question in, now is a great time to do it. I'm more likely to be able to answer your question if you ask it now than if you ask it, say, in 20 minutes, because we'll be ending this at the top of the hour. It is 12:22 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time as we speak, and at 1 o'clock in about 38 minutes, we will be saying goodbye for now. And with that, let's get to the next question. So that means ask your question now, because over time, the queue of questions tends to build up, and I want to be able to get to your questions. So, all right, next up, Carolyn says, I know this is about PPC, but can you advise me on the shrinkage in receiving where I know I sent 50 Fever Dot packs, but they show receipt of only 48. I try to help by bundling product in groups of 10, but they still say they got less. Are the receiving personnel pocketing the product? Dude, I don't know. This is this is a common complaint. What you could do, you can ask them to do an audit. I forget how they phrase it. You could ask them to, check on them. And so sometimes it's like they make you wait, I think 60 days from the time they received it or something. You can always put in a request for reimbursement. They may ask you for documentation. It changes what they want from time to time, but sometimes just having an invoice, and sometimes they'll even let you cover up the contact information for your suppliers, because not everybody wants to share with Amazon their suppliers. But yeah, it is frustrating that you send stuff in and all of a sudden you're like, how did you only get 48? I know I packed 50. And that happens. And sometimes you just magically find them. And you might get reimbursed for those 2 units. And then you might magically in 6 months get a reversal of the reimbursement because they found them. Where were they? I don't know. I don't think their personnel is necessarily pocketing the products. I mean, I've heard of dirty things happening at Amazon, but I don't think it's that widespread. Like if any, like you got to remember, like they probably have a camera on every direction. You know, they have loss prevention personnel watching all this because they don't want stuff to get stolen. They don't want to have to reimburse you for anything. They don't want, you know, to not be able to fulfill a customer's order because employees stole stuff. Like, from my understanding, like if you're an employee at Amazon, I wouldn't say it's impossible to steal like stuff, but I think it would be very hard. And you know, they're watching them. Their manager might not be standing next to them, you know, staring at them as they, you know, pull product out of boxes. But there's like, it's not like the days where like, you know, security cameras are like this big and, you know, it's like moving or you can only get like one little granulated spot. Like I think they have tons of cameras and there's probably AIs like looking and judging people. So like I would say it's probably frustrating, and how they mess it up, I don't know. But they tend to find them a lot of times, and like at inopportune times. Oftentimes they've already reimbursed you, and then they, you know, reverse the reimbursement. So it's definitely frustrating. All right, next up, Claire says, "Hey Kevin, hey Claire. Last 30 days, we've had 37,856 impressions, 261 clicks, and $434.95 in PPC spend on a high ticket product, but no conversions. Yikes. How do you tell if it's the price, listing, or low review trust?" Okay. Yeah. So that's a good question. So when you say high ticket, like how high ticket? Is it high ticket like it's $70? Is it high ticket like it's $120? Is it $700? Is it $4,000? You know, how much is it? Because the higher in price, the more people are going to be doing research. And so there's a chance if you just launched this product and you're not getting sales, one, you could have a targeting problem, meaning you could be targeting the wrong keywords. And then if you are not getting any conversions for 261 clicks, that's definitely something's off. If you want, okay, let's see. There's a little more context here. I have 8 Vine reviews, 4.5 stars. Okay, that's good. I don't think everyone necessarily pays attention to like, you know, the number of reviews. They just see like, oh, there's stars. It's not like 100 1-star reviews. I'm redoing my entire listing, going for a quiet luxury brand. I'm direct price competition with my competitors. I have a $50 or 50 off coupon launched February 17th. All right. So you've been at this for about a month. And you are spending money, but you're not getting sales. So that's not good. One, is this all sponsored products? I would be curious of, because you want to make sure this is sponsored products. Take a look at the keywords. Are they truly relevant? And so we've got content on this channel about getting a master keyword list. You could use tools like Helium 10 or Data Dive to help you figure out which keywords have opportunity. And some of that is just like, you know, what are your competitors ranking for? And so look at the most relevant competitors, not necessarily the ones that are getting the most sales, but which ones are the most relevant to your product. Like which ones are most your direct competitor. And those are the ones you want to look at first. And then the listing. Yeah. If you want to give us your ASIN and which marketplace it's in. So like, is it US, UK, or Canada, or wherever? I'd be happy to take a look at it if you're comfortable with that. If not, don't worry. But yeah, there's probably stuff you could do with the listing. There's probably stuff you could do with the keywords. The hard part is there's probably a feeling, and I would get it, of wanting to just change everything. But the problem sometimes is if you just change everything, then what worked? and maybe you got rid of something that would have been a variable that would have worked. And so you might want to lower your price, see if that helps you. You might want to change your title. We like to say the best way to quickly get more traffic, which doesn't necessarily sound like you have a traffic problem. But if you want to get more traffic, the best thing to do is change your main image. And so that would be something you could do. You could have our team create a main image for you for $100. You could just go to myamazonguy.com/IMG, as in short for image, and our team could put together a main image for you with some of our tricks. Oh, there we go. Not tricks. Some of our proven tactics that are some people worry like, oh, is it going to get my account shut down? We tend to find no, it doesn't. And Amazon does a lot of the things that we do too. So we just know how to do them well. All right. So next up, our competitor is making 4,000 units in sales per month by targeting him in an ASIN targeting. Conversion is 20%. Suggested bid is $1.35, and our bid is $1.35 with 15% ACOS to 17%. Should we up spend or keep ACOS cool? Depends on what your goals are. If you want sales, this is highly relevant. If you're getting a 20% conversion rate off of people clicking from one of your competitors, I mean, I would double the heck down on that puppy. So how do you just get more? How do you get more? How do you get more? So I would go after the sponsored display placement, the sponsored brand placement. I would figure out every placement you can do that you just litter your product all over their listing. Because 15% ACOS is great, but why not? If the suggested bid is $1.35, try $1.50 and just see what happens. And you might spend $1.36. Who knows? But yeah, 20% conversion rate is really good. We tend to say 10 to 15% is, good. So 20% is amazing. And I would take a look and see, do they have other products too? And so if they have other products in their portfolio that are not like parentages necessarily, I would start going after some of their other ASINs, even if they're not as 100% relevant. Maybe they're close enough. Maybe they're adjacent enough. So you're definitely on to something if you have a 15 to 17% ACOS and a 20% conversion rate. You have room to play. Like you want to siphon off, ethically steal, as they say, as much of the traffic that they're paying for and bring it over to your listing, which is highly converting. So I would all day long. And keep in mind, they're going to do it to you too. And if they have not already figured it out, they're soon will figure out that your product is something they should ace and target. So you might as well go after theirs as much as possible. All right, next up. Oh, follow-up question to that from Ro Aka. In budget of $180, where the average conversion is pretty low, like less than 5% for launching, do we need to work ranking keywords or try to focus on long tail just to get sales starting? So yeah, at the end of the day on Amazon, sales beget sales. It's that flywheel effect. In order to get impressions, you need sales. In order to get sales, you need impressions. Which is the egg and which is the chicken? Which is the horse and which is the buggy? Like, which comes first? I don't know. You just got to do it. You just need to get sales. So I would say if your conversion rate is low, that means you're probably paying a pretty penny for your ACOS. So I would say you probably want to focus on the long tail keywords more than the high volume keywords that you really want to rank on. Because a lot of times those, it's like my example of dry erase markers. If you go on Amazon right now and just type in markers, there might be one or two markers that are dry erase markers, and they're like, like name brand Expo Black or Amazon Basics. But most of it is like crafting markers and maybe like school markers like Crayola. there's not a lot of dry erase. And so your product, you might be going after the markers of your niche, but you should be going after the dry erase markers, the more niche product that's a little longer tail, or maybe even more niche than that, like purple dry erase markers, whatever that kind of narrowing down is in your category, and focus on that. And then sometimes you could start branching outwards. And, you go from the super specific purple dry erase marker to now dry erase marker, and then to markers if you can make it work. That's usually my suggestion if you're at all worried about budget. Although $180 is a pretty good, budget to start off with. Like, it's healthy. It's not like you're saying I can only spend $7 a day. So you have a little bit of room to play with, because you probably won't spend a lot on the super long tail keywords, because the longer tail means there's fewer people searching for it, because it's very specific, but it can usually be very high intent for your product, or for products like yours, I should say. All right. Fever Dots 2221 says, I know this is about PPC. Oh, we already talked about this. You asked the same question on LinkedIn. So hopefully you get that figured out. Next up, SDK Clips says, what is the advice for new brand for PPC ads? What's the best way to start? So I think I answered this earlier, but basically start off with an auto campaign, or I answered a similar question. Start off with an auto campaign, get your master keyword list, which we've got somewhere around here. You should see a button for My Amazon Guy YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. We just recently hit 60,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody, for helping us make that happen. But what you could do is you could figure out, okay, what is my master keyword list? Get a master keyword list. However many relevant keywords you can find. Maybe it's 20, maybe it's 100. I tend to find the more the better. We recommend at My Amazon Guy, don't put more than, let's say, 20 keywords, 10 to 20 at the most in a campaign. Maybe only 5, maybe only even 1 or just a couple if it's, higher volume keywords or keywords that you have a lot of potential for. So, but I tend to recommend start with, maybe the 10 to 20, or, not too much less than that, because the more campaigns you create, the more you're going to be having to maintain it all. So, as I like to say, don't build yourself a prison that you're stuck in. So, all right, next up, Fever Dots 2221. This was, I think, a clarification of Amazon was, you're finding that you're sending in like 50 units and they're only recording 48. This was not in the LinkedIn one. I don't believe it was, that the product is unique. The one thing you could do is just search the internet, like go on eBay, look and see if there's other sellers on your listing. Go on Etsy if it's relevant. Just go other places and see if you can find your product. And, if the product's selling for something competitive to what you're selling it for, and it seems like it's not like just one unit that somebody bought and realized it's past the final day that they can return it, and they just decided to, break even or something like that. But if you're seeing lots of units being sold wherever you're looking, and it's like at a competitive price, like nobody's looking to lose money, because they would have had to pay for those units. And then, they have fees they have to pay for, if it's, TikTok Shop or, eBay or Etsy, whatever, there's always going to be some fees involved. So if someone is able to compete with you on price on another platform selling your product, that might be a clue that you can't necessarily say it for sure, but something you want to keep an eye on. And if they over time seem to be making sales, and which is hard to know on other platforms sometimes, especially if it's their own website, but it could be worth presenting. But if you're going to present to Amazon that some of their employees are stealing, you make sure you have some good evidence, not just a gut feeling, would be my suggestion. So with that, all right, if you have questions, drop them into the chat. I'll do my best to get to them. We have lots of great questions, so I'll try to get to as many of them as I possibly can here in the next 20 minutes. All right, so Why So Cute says, how many keywords should realistically live in one campaign before performance starts getting diluted? Really, it depends. So we like to say no more than 20, but it's not so much that the performance of a keyword might necessarily get diluted. It's that the budget might get moved. And it's not the budget gets moved. Amazon allocates the budget algorithmically, which can feel arbitrary sometimes. So if you're running into like capping in your budget, then you may have too many keywords in a single campaign, or you just need to increase your budget. But if no matter what you do, most of the budget is going to a keyword that may not even have the most potential, then maybe you want to move the good keywords out of, or the potential keywords out of that campaign. So it's not like they necessarily dilute on their own necessarily. It's just the algorithm may put most of your budget on one keyword, but you want it to go somewhere else. So the fewer keywords you have tends to be the more control, but you also have to look at the balance of like, what am I even trying to control here? You know, it's like you have a bucking bronco that you're trying to like keep under wraps, or is it like, you know, a little tiny like plastic, you know, turtle toy, like it's not even real, it doesn't even move. Like you don't need the same level of control as the bucking bronco. So you know, how much chaos are you trying to avoid and keep under control? All right, next up, Claire Villacres says $349. Oh, that's the price of your high ticket product. So yeah, I would say for that, you know, you probably should be looking at probably at least 3 to 5, if not 8 to 10% conversion rate. So oftentimes when you go over 100, it's not like, you know, the 10 to 15% conversion rate like I would normally recommend. So you should be getting something. So you had like, I think it was like 261 clicks or something like that. So you would think you'd be getting, I don't know, 10 to 20 sales out of that. So something is definitely off and needs to be worked on. All right, next up. Oh, SDK Clip says, I'm a new seller. Should I do PPC myself or hire someone? So full disclosure, this is my Amazon Guys and agency. We're more than happy to take a look at it for you. With that being said, what is more impactful to you? Do you have more money than time or more time than money? So oftentimes when people first start out, it's more of an issue of more time than money. Now, if you're an existing brand and you said that you were, you know, you're already in other stores, you're already worrying about production and logistics and all this other stuff, and you don't have time to figure out Amazon, then you want to hire someone. If you're just starting off on Amazon, you're oftentimes better off just doing it on your own until you get to a certain point, then call us. Excuse me. My Amazon guy is not going anywhere. So you could hire us, you could hire someone else. But I would say if you're doing this by yourself and money is more the issue, I would learn PPC. So that way too, you can at least know like when you're talking to someone, are they blowing smoke or do they know what they're talking about? And so the more you've kind of gotten your hands dirty, so to speak, and gotten into campaigns and see what works and what doesn't, you'll be able to spot snake oil. And so there's a lot of people in this business who are very smart, know what they're talking about. I try to make sure when I host virtual summits on PPC, I hire the people that know what they're talking about, I bring on the people that know what they're talking about, and platform them. Whereas if you are just on your own trying to figure out, sometimes it's harder to know who are the people that know what they're talking about and don't. And so there are some people out there that don't necessarily have your best interest at heart. And what you really want is, if you are going to hire someone who has good processes, has good track record, and can help you with your your brand. And, at the end of the day, they want a long-term relationship with you so that you stay with them. And, it never 100% works out 100% of the time for 100% of products with every agency they deal with. But, who has a better than not track record, which we would like to think we have a good track record here at My Amazon Guy. All right. So Infinite eGame says, I have 5 years doing Amazon arbitrage and wholesale model. I have 0 experience doing PPC. How can I get experience doing PPC, managing other accounts, and get hired by agencies, brands? $0. All right. Well, I don't know where you're located. If you're interested, you can always go to myamazonguy.com/jobs and apply to work at My Amazon Guy. My Amazon Guy has very specific, it's called Culture Index. It's kind of like a personality assessment. They have very specific qualities they're looking for, which does not mean that you're a good person or a bad person. And if you don't meet what they're looking for, that you're not a good person. You might be an amazing person and be great. But if it's not the fit, they're not going to hire you. And they're more worried about the culture fit than they are the technical expertise. So for somebody looking to start out, it's actually great, because if you're a good culture fit for MAG, they'll teach you what you need to know. And they've got the good processes behind them. And there's a lot of other great agencies out there too. So sometimes the best thing to do is just start applying. And if you at least understand how Amazon works and the thought processes of, like, you got to have impressions, you get clicks, you get purchases, and, you kind of at least understand how the funnel works and some of the basics, you'll pick it up more than someone who doesn't know. So you can always apply with us. You can always apply somewhere else. And then just keep attending, stuff like this. Attend our PPC profitability webinar this coming Thursday at 1:00, which if you just go to myamazonguy.com, you can see a little banner just like this one. Click on that, it takes you to this page, and then you can sign up. It's totally free. So just keep learning the craft, and then just keep applying with folks. That would be my suggestion. All right. Next up, we have Real Skincare says, I had to take a call and wasn't able to listen to your response. I went back and listened, and the issue is they have multiple brands on their seller account, so we have to move the brand over. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's a tougher one. I've not personally moved. I would say if you want a better answer than just Kevin shooting from the hip of like, here's what I think you should do, join at 12:00 on Friday. Same time, same place, just on Friday. Noah will be here, and he would give you a better answer on transferring that brand out of one account into the other and what to do with brand registry. If you need some help, we can provide limited help as far as at least directing you, and you can buy a troubleshooting hours package on the myamazonguy.com website. So that'll be my suggestion. All right. Next up, OX Shalesh says, I'm selling $120 furniture on the US marketplace. Got 80 clicks, mixture of broad and auto, 2 conversions, launched 3 days ago. Congratulations. That's good. I mean, you're getting clicks, you're getting impressions, you made a couple sales. You're not selling a $12 product, you're selling a $120 product. So 2 clicks, it's 1 click every 40. So that's a 2.5% conversion rate. If my math teacher from high school might be proud of me if I'm actually correct in that. Otherwise, I get scolded. But anyway, I think I'm correct that's 2.5% conversion rate. So for 3 days, the algorithm's trying to understand your product. It's not like you just flip a switch and the sales just come rushing in. Those ads you sometimes see, like, people sitting on the beach with a laptop, and they're just living the lifestyle. That's all hooey. And you know what? I live not too far from the beach, and I hate going to the beach with my laptop. You get sand on it. It's hard to see with the sun. It's not as fun as they make it out to be. So anyway, there's a lot of gurus out there that make it seem like you just launch and get started. You're off to a pretty good start, I would say. Just give it more time. I mean, you said it launched 3 days ago. So I would say that's a win. Get more data before you make any decisions, because 80 clicks, I might look and see, like, if you have 80 of those clicks are coming, or 80, sorry, you have 80 clicks. So if, let's say 60 clicks are all from the same keyword and they converted 0, I would probably turn that one off. Or if you have a couple that made the sales, I was going to say maybe adjust some of the bids down if you need to, but you're still new at this and you have not a super high ticket product, but it's not an impulse purchase. Like, people don't just buy a $120 product just because, like, oh, I need that. A lot of shoppers on Amazon are still thinking through the purchasing process. What do I want? What do I not want? They're doing more research. So you also have the ability, I mean, there's a 7-day attribution window with most of the reports you're looking at. So you might, it's your results for the clicks you've already gotten might improve over time. And then you probably don't have a lot of reviews. And so over time, you will be getting more reviews. So I would just say, hold the line based on what you're saying, $120 piece of furniture. You got 80 clicks and you've already made sales. Get more data. As tempting as it is, just start clicking buttons and changing stuff. Just let it be for now, and see how it goes. That would be my suggestion. Maybe add some more keywords, but I wouldn't start tweaking a lot, because you don't have a ton of data. You have 2 sales and 80 clicks, which you'd like to see it be better than that, but it's not terrible. All right, next up. What is your strategy when CPC keeps increasing in a competitive niche? Yes. So if your cost per click is increasing, then you're going to have to figure out, how do you convert higher? And when I say convert higher, I don't just mean like when they land on your page. That's part of it. But how do you get a higher percentage of people clicking through? They don't phrase it this way, but if you really kind of think about it, almost all online ad platforms are really, you're paying for CPMs, and CPM is the cost per 1,000 impressions. And yes, people might say, yeah, but they're saying per click. It is. But if they keep giving you thousands of impressions and you're not getting clicks, and they can get another product for those same impressions, they're going to give it to the other product. So really, your conversion rate on Amazon is click-through rate times conversion rate on the page. So if you take total sales divided by total impressions, that is a very low percentage number, but that's going to match what you're going to see if you look in Amazon experiments, which gives you a little bit of insight into how they think internally, that it's really all about the conversion rate, which first starts with the click, because if you don't get the click, you're not going to get the sale. So how can you improve your main image would be our suggestion, because that's generally the best way to improve your click-through rate. You may want to also play with your price if you're comfortable with that, maybe lower it a little bit, and see how that affects things. So that would be my suggestion. All right. Next up, however, my ads on competitor ASIN sponsored products is not working. Oh, this is the one where they just launched and they have 80 clicks. Only if I bid 10x the Amazon suggested bid for my competitors, my ads are being shown on the competitor ASIN. However, my competitor has their ad on my product. Is there something I can do for it? Well, there's nothing you can do about their ad showing up on your product. It's probably just that their product might just be the one that they've got a target on their back because they're established, and maybe everyone else selling a similar product is bidding high for it. And maybe that's just why you're not showing up. You probably are still showing up. Like, do you have 0 impressions, or just you don't see it necessarily when you go to the page, which might just be you're way deep in the carousel. like you're not one of the first, that first carousel, you have to like kind of like click through to go see others. So that might be part of the reason. But there's not much you can do to get them off your product other than if you have other products bid super high to like ASIN targeting for your own other products. You can't ASIN target your own product. That would be kind of inception. All right. Then P. Wellstone says campaigns targeting broad type of keywords like travel gadgets are currently too expensive for us, while brand keywords and very close matching targets are 100% covered, looking for in-between targets. Okay, yeah. So what I would say is like something like travel gadgets is, there's a lot of different directions you can go with that. So as I was mentioning earlier in the stream, we have quite a few like keyword related videos on this channel, and just you could just type in my Amazon guy master keyword list, or I think you can search for particular videos on the channel itself. But either way, try to find our video on master keyword list and use that to help you. And so something like travel gadgets, you know, find the 10 products that are the closest to yours. And even if it's not 10 products, try to find as many as you possibly can. So once you figure out what those keywords are, or sorry, once you find out what those products are, then you can use a tool like Data Dive or Helium 10's Cerebro to figure out which keywords are they ranking for. And then maybe those keywords will give you suggestions on what you should be going after. So that would be a suggestion I would give you. So with that, we're coming to the end here. Sorry, folks, I didn't get to everyone's questions, but it looks like I was able to help some of you. Roakas has got it. Thanks for the answers. That's my pleasure. Daryl Dulling says that makes sense. Longer tail is more intentional. Otherwise, everything is a dry erase marker. Yeah, exactly. So you want to go after those longer tail keywords that are going to be more relevant to your product. Dry erase marker was the example I gave earlier for those who are like, what is he talking about? Well, rewatch the stream. You'll know what we're talking about. Fever Dot says, I'll put in a quality ticket on Amazon. Yeah, good luck. Hopefully they find your missing units and they figure out their process, because they are it happens too often to a lot of us. So with that, thank you, everybody. Glad to help everybody out, and take care.